Well, good evening, everybody. Good evening. Just so you know, this is the kind of ceremony where you can talk back. There's a very specific reason for that, which is that although I'm in the costume, the actual ministers of this wedding ceremony are you all. And here's why I say that. You all know Walter and David, whether you're related to them by blood or over the years of friendship and working together and knowing them, working with them, and having that bond of friendship with them, you've all kind of grown together. So you've seen them when they're looking fabulous. You've seen them when they look less fabulous. You've seen them when they're messy. You've seen them when they're neat, and you will do so again. And so one of the reasons that we do this is because they're making these vows, these promises to each other in front of you. And you will be the witnesses to these promises and to their life together as they continue to grow together like two great big old oak trees. Branches that intertwine and provide shade for everybody underneath. Yeah. So in a way, you are the ministers. And when they need help, they may go to any one of you. And when you need help, you can go to them, because in these two you have family. So this is one of those ceremonies where we're kind of making something visible that has already appeared, but it's easy not to notice. One reason we have to have ceremonies is because it's easy to miss stuff and forget stuff, right? And time goes by and you didn't even know what you had. And so for just a moment, we bring our attention, we settle our bodies down here, pay attention and notice something. It's there all the time, but we do it in such a way that we can really see it. So that's why we walk down this aisle and we dress a little differently and we speak in a language that we don't speak in every day, but it's still the truth. So these two have been together for 16 years, already practicing. That's a lot of prep for a wedding. Pretty impressive. They've done an amazing job. And so, in a way, yes, we're making manifest what is already apparent, but also, by making these promises clear in front of all of you, they're doing this not only for each other. That's very important. They're doing it for each other. They're also doing it for you. Right? So, in my tradition is Buddhism, and whenever we do a ceremony, we call on three treasures, three gems. I'm going to not throw the Sanskrit words at you. I'm just going to speak English. Okay? First treasure that we call on is your attention, your awareness, right? Your mind right now, listening to me. Right? Your love for these two is what you see with and what you hear with. The other, second treasure is wisdom, teaching. A lot of different faiths here. Some Christians here, and some Jewish people here, and people who have gotten their wisdom from something other than a religion, something else. But you all have wisdom, and you also have life experience, whether you're about to turn 1 year old, or whether you're a little closer to 100. You know? You have life experience and wisdom. I wasn't going to gesture.
I didn't do that.
You can tell because of the wisdom of their words. So yeah, so that's what you bring. So each one of you and what you know. So, multiply that by however many people are in this room now. That's a lot of wisdom, right? So this is a very good, safe room to be in right now. The third treasure we call on is community. Right? Community, friendship, and family. It's larger than just family. It's larger than just friends. It's both all together. I mean, look at this. Look at that. And then there are more people who are thinking of you who couldn't even be here, right? And there are people who want to be here with you, but they're just not available for one reason or another. So this is, you have quite an army behind you here, so you're both in very safe hands as well. So now that we've kind of set tone, got clear why we're here, everybody knows they're in the right place, right? Good. Okay. Before we proceed, what I have is Walter was going to actually tell the story, the legend of the meeting of Walter and David.
I'm going to read because I'm going to probably cry. We often hear the term love at first sight and soulmates used when talking about a couple. Nothing could be more true for us. Our story began 16 years ago at approximately this exact same time. In 1997, David was living back in Las Cruces and I was living over in Carlsbad. We had both been encouraged to attend a retreat that was going to take place, but had both been reluctant. David had a friend, Carrie Meyer, who had kept encouraging him to attend, and at the last minute he agreed. I had a friend, Tom Tudor, who's here tonight, who was doing the same to me. He had probably figured out by then that I was a bit stubborn, and he continued to encourage me. And I finally relented and decided to go. After all, it was just going to be a weekend and it was going to get me out of Carlsbad. The retreat was called Cara Cara, or Face to Face. The first night was face to face with ourselves, the next day was face to face with each other, and the final was face to face with the group. There was a variety of activities that helped guide us through this process. The first night after dinner, we got ready for our first gathering. This was going to be face to face with ourselves. We all got in a big circle and to begin, and there wound up being an empty chair put in the circle, which I was sitting next to. Our activity for the night was to sit in a dimly lit room and look at our reflections in a bowl of water and talk about the person we see ourselves as. How deep? David had been waffling. David had been waffling about going to the event, so he decided at the last minute to go. He arrived late and came in after we had already started. What luck. There was the extra chair right next to me. We didn't have to rearrange anything, and if there was anything such as love at first sight, that was true for me. The rest of this part of our story is told to us based on how it was told back to us. We never even said hello to each other. He just hurriedly got in and got seated and went on. Those who were there said slowly as the night progressed, we changed the angles we were sitting at and started leaning towards each other. Next, I'm told we slowly let our hands creep towards each other and finally just held hands. By the end of the evening, I was leaning against David, and his arm was around me, and I was holding his hand. After we finished what was a very deep activity, we took a break and then gathered to socialize, sing folk songs. We said goodnight, and I was really whirling with all the feelings and emotions I had. The next morning, I woke him up with coffee and orange juice that I brought to his room. The day was spent on face-to-face with each other. We were in small groups and workshops and talked about a wide variety of topics. Why was this ever different? I was actually going to know somebody on a much deeper level right from the very start. We ended the weekend with both of us in tears, not wanting to say goodbye. I decided to stay a little longer at my aunt's house here in Cruces so we could see each other more. His bride happened to be his mom, and when she got there, he wanted me to meet her. That was a shock in itself to me. I had never known anybody who had parents that were that open and accepting of it. This was such a whirlwind of emotions. I was totally swept away. By mid-December, we had decided we were going to make the leap and move in together. I began staying at David's mom and dad's house here with them, with him during this time. Once we had decided we were taking the leap, I thought it would be a nice gesture to take his mom and dad out to eat since they had been so gracious to me. I will never forget this night, ever. David's mom and dad came from their upstairs office, and as they walked into the room where we were, they said, "We would like to talk to Walter." Oh no, what did I do? What could they possibly want to talk to me about? David and I got up and started to head upstairs, and his dad turned around and looked at David and said, "No, we just want to talk to Walter." Oh my God. I called this the night, the what are your intentions with my son night. He wanted to be sure I understood all the possibilities and obstacles that we may encounter as a couple. His dad would say something about David that might concern him a little bit, and his mom would chime in with one of David's better qualities. I've never in my life experienced something like that night, and thankfully I'm not planning on being in that situation ever again. By January 15th, we had our first place and had only spent a total of about 4 days apart since we had met. I never expected that I would become part of a family. I also never expected that they would be so incredible. I spent Christmas with his family and got to meet all the siblings. It turns out that his oldest sister's boyfriend and I went to 3rd grade together. Imagine that. Me and his brother were born days apart in the same hospital. Fate was determined to make our paths cross. The proverbial cherry on the sundae didn't come for about a year, though. That's when I started to email his daughter. It was a few years later before her first visit. I never thought about the idea of having kids, so it was hard. So it was kind of nice to come into a ready-made family. I love his daughter more than shoes. Our lives have been blessed for 16 years by our wonderful family and friends, and we are thankful each and every day for each and every one of you that are a part of it.
Do I have to follow that?
Actually, what we're going to get to now is actually exchanging vows. So sometimes the people getting married actually write their own vows. And I actually encourage people to do this. Even if you used traditional vows in your ceremony, sometimes it's really helpful to sit down and try to find your own words for what it is that you vow to actually do. Right? You understand, I get married. It's like getting into a car or something. But, what do you do? What do you do day in and day out? So it can be really a very interesting exercise to write your own vows, even if you're already married. Even if you're not married yet, but you're thinking about getting married someday. What's the job description? And I treat it like a vocation. I actually treat it like, these are vows that are not easy to keep. These are vows that actually are not possible to keep, not every day. And those are great vows. Those are big vows, right? Because here's the thing. Every time you mess up and you fall short of one of your vows, you have this very interesting opportunity, which is to pick yourself up very humbly and start again. And resolve to keep that vow. You come home to your vow. And in that coming home, you get stronger. Your center gets stronger. And you don't get a chance to practice that if you don't mess up. So you need to make your vows big. You need to make them a little bit higher than you can reach so that you have that, right? That practice. And so having great vows, when ordinary people like us undertake great vows, that gives us a chance to practice every day. Just like you've been practicing 16 years being together. They haven't all been great days, right? So even on the days that are not magical, we still have this great opportunity to practice and come home to our vow again and again and again and again. Because what we do when we do that is bigger than us. It's more important. It's something for all of you, but it's also something for that wider world out there. In Buddhism, we say that we undertake our vows in order to liberate all beings in the whole universe, not just Las Cruces. The whole universe. Right? So it's a big vow. So these vows come from their own words. And the way we're gonna do this is that while one is making their vows in front of each other and in front of all of you, the person listening and receiving the vow, they're gonna hold, I'm sorry, I'm wrong. The person saying the vow is gonna be holding on to their ring, and then their last vow with their last vow So we're starting with David. And so who has David's, the ring for Walter? Walter's ring.
Yes.
Okay, so make sure we got the right. It's terrible if you do all the promises and then you got the wrong ring and it doesn't fit. It's a chance to come home. Okay, so face to face, cara a cara. Okay, David, you just repeat after me.
Okay. I think I can do that.
I know you can.
They all know. Walter, I give myself to you in marriage.
Walter, I give myself to you in marriage.
I promise to encourage and inspire you,
I promise to encourage and inspire you,
to laugh with you and cry with you,
to laugh with you and cry with you,
to comfort you in times of sorrow,
to comfort you in times of sorrow,
and to cherish you always.
and to cherish you all.
I promise to love and care for you.
I promise to love and care for you.
I promise not to cook for you. I will always be honest with you,
I will always be honest with you,
and I will try to be kind,
and I will try to be kind,
patient, and forgiving
patient, and forgiving,
for as long as we both shall live.
for as long as we both shall.
Now sealing it with the ring vow. Let this ring be a symbol
Let this ring be a symbol
of my promises to you,
of my promises to you,
and a reminder of my devotion to you.
and a reminder of my devotion to you.
I am honored to call you my husband.
I'm honored to call you my husband.
Okay. Can I have give Walter David? Ready? My vow to you
My vow to you
is to make each year
is to make each year
more exciting than the last.
more exciting than the last.
When you face difficulty,
When you face difficulty,
I will love and cherish you more.
I will love and cherish you more.
When life presents health issues,
When life presents health issues,
I will support and care for you.
I will support and care for you.
When life's stresses affect us,
When life's stresses affect us,
I will always be on your side.
I will always be on your side.
We are a team.
We are a team.
When there are financial challenges,
When there are financial challenges,
I will always remember.
I will always remember.
I would rather spend a lifetime eating beans with you
I will always spend a lifetime eating beans with you
than a lifetime of lobster without you.
than a lifetime of lobster without you.
The last 16 years have taught me
The last 16 years have taught me
a real relationship has fights,
a real relationship has fights,
it has trust and faith,
it has trust and faith,
it has tears and heart,
it has tears and heart,
sweet smiles and tender moments,
sweet smiles and tender moments,
genuine laughter,
genuine laughter,
weird and unnecessary arguments,
weird and unnecessary arguments,
patience and communication,
patience and communication,
but most of all, it has love.
but most of all, it has love.
Sealing this with the ring vow. This ring is a symbol of our love,
This ring is a symbol of our love,
and just as it wraps around your finger,
and just as it wraps around your finger,
my love will always... It means it's secure.
Come on.
My love will always wrap around you.
my love will always wrap around you.
Now, here's a little something I didn't tell you.
Huh?
Yeah.
We didn't sign it.
Turn around, look at that. I'm just going to talk to the two of them for a second. See, they're doing things. They're always good. You always become good. You also got to remember that you're there for them too. That's why it's big job. Big. Now, all of you, since you're the real ministers here, I'm going to ask you a question, which is you've listened to these vows. And what I want you to do is I want you together to affirm, if you believe in the strength and the sincerity of the vows you have heard today, can you affirm it by saying, we do?
We do.
Oh, stronger. Front or center, come on. If you believe in the sincerity and the force of the vows you have heard today, please affirm by saying, we do.
We do.
That sounded good.
Make him do it a third time. That was pretty good. Okay. David, you had a reflection to share as well. I have that for
Yes, one brief thing here. Thank you. Ray Bradbury said, "What is love? Perhaps we may find that love is the ability of someone to give us back to us. Maybe love is someone seeing and remembering, handing us back to ourselves just a trifle better than we had dared to hope or dream." And I wanted to say this because you've given me back to myself just a little better than I was. You've made me a better person, and I love you.
Now that you've told your stories, you have exchanged your vows, exchanged rings. I am very proud and honored as your friend, comrade, to pronounce Walter and David married.